Whoops. My bad. Okay, okay, that's fixed. Everything should be... hold on. Ha 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 ha. I don't want to actually cough and then spike the mic and deafen all who hears, so it'll have to be the best that I can do. And yeah, we're back to this. Let me... Nice. Okay, I did save that. Let's see, hold on. Was this that? Okay, it just turns up the saturation, I think. This clip to here, this is at 100%, huh? I wonder. No, that wouldn't work. What if I unclip that? Right. Okay. Wait, I was gonna talk about something today. Okay, let's see here. Talk about playing as monsters. Right. Okay, yeah. So, Yo Monster, not only are you gonna have the ability to create your character and and be a human, but hold on, just gotta check. But you will also have the capability to play as the monsters. Why? Because they're cool. Why wouldn't you want to play as the monsters? Did that actually do anything? I don't think it did. Whoa, hold on. Where am I anyways? Of course, wrong layer. Okay, that works now. Good. Yeah, so like this fox thing, you would be able to play as it. And Oni, you would be able to play as it. Did I have a sea serpent? I don't know, but I should. I should definitely have a sea serpent. Of course, you're not going to be the super powerful type. You're not going to be a super powerful type starting off unless that's, the mode of story that you're going for. But you will be able to play as them. I think monsters will be a little different in that they actually will have their own classes. You know what? I think, yeah, there we go. See, so one, if I zoom out, you can't really see it. You can't really see the shading. Or you can, but if I clip the layer mask to it, then it kind of disappears. But I think if I were to duplicate, see how much darker it gets when you duplicate it. Yeah. Okay, so then we merge with the layer below, so the whole thing should be that dark, and then I don't know. I don't see the difference. Dang. Perhaps I think I might just need to color pick the multiply layer. So sad. Unless what I do is okay. First, let's turn off that. Let's then do this. So then we are going to first need a selection layer that we'll just get from the wand tool. Okay, looks good. Ooh, it has the flames too, huh? Wait, no. Yeah, it does have the flames. Dang. Alright, here's what I'll do. I will go to this, add, and now the flames are also selected right now. Then we go to select, invert selected area, selects a kid. Then we go to file, wrong. We go to layer, new correction layer. New correction layer, level, no, not level. Yeah, hue, saturation, luminosity, and then we change the hue down a little bit more blue. That I want it 25, I think. 25, saturation a little bit higher, luminosity down. Down more. I don't know. We'll try 33, I think. Okay, now can we apply to that layer? See, and now I think it made everything a little bit darker, and you can actually now see the shading on his head. Okay, that's not too bad. But I still want... Where are you? Pencil. Just to make the outline. No, it should be softer, I believe. Maybe change this opacity down. You know what, that's... I can see it. It'll probably work, I think. Yeah, so this... Yeah, so the darker line, I think, is working as the core shadow, whereas the shading then is more at, like, the bounce light coming back off the fox. Does it look good? Perhaps. This is just a different style that I'm testing right now. Truth be told, usually I just like to shade in black, so let me do that after this. Nah, his arm can stay that way. The hand, yep. Okay, that's not too bad. Yeah, then, okay, so normally what I would do is not this. Grab a square brush and then make a layer on top, because the blacks, they absolutely block the light, so then I could just put some blacks on top of him, but as you can see, the combination of these two isn't too... They don't mesh too well together. Not right now, anyway. Not as I'm using them now. And maybe I will find a way eventually. But not today. Okay, you know what? Hold on. This is just a waste of time. Okay, cool. If you notice how bare everything is, and only that the cat is in the right hand corner, I do want to make more stream.
Hello, Moto.
More stream elements. I do want to make more stream elements. That startled me. Okay. So that's that for the kid. I do want also to... There he is. Truth be told, I should have the fox and the... Right. And the kid in separate layers, I believe. Hold on. Rats. I cleared my throat. Didn't want to do that on stream. Yeah, the fox's shading I do believe was too light. Hold on, let's back. Back cleared, and then here it was. It's at 57. I mean, sure you can see it, but it's not too. It doesn't really push everything back, I think. So just a little bit. Okay. Is 80 a little better? Let's take it back down, and then 80. I think 80 should work. Yeah, see. Because here at 50%, I know. Sorry, I wasn't zoomed in, but I'm not really looking here in the middle where I'm drawing. I'm looking more at the thumbnail navigator to see the difference. And at about 74, 75, 80, it frames the kid a bit more, which one separates him, two draws you to his face, which is better, I would say. Okay. Still, I do want just a little bit of this. Oh no. Rats. Okay. Now this will work. This will work. Okay, that. I always forget to turn off the saturation layer. Okay. I'm doing it again. Oh, you know what I didn't do is take an allergy medicine today. Those are always nice. They help. Let me. You know what? Since this is more blue, I think I want to push it a little bit up to red. You know what? Now his pants kind of get lost. I don't know that I want to define the light though. So what I'm still gonna do is just try this on the fox. Just checking. Oh, you know what? Yeah, let me try this. I think, what if I put just one layer here? I don't know. I don't know. It separates it a little too much for my liking. Let me do this instead. Whoa, no. Can't have that. Alright, so if you saw here, Okay, no, wrong area. I'm gonna zoom into it. If you saw here, if you saw there, it was a tangent line. So the line for the shading would then connect directly to the point on his clothes, and that should not be. Well, that's usually not good to have. Was I done talking about the monsters? I don't remember. I'm pretty sure that they're going to have their own set of skills, but then they too will have the nebulous. Can you describe what you want to do, and then you can do it skill. Which for some people, without any rules would be overpowered, because then you say, oh, I just want to sack all my dice onto one, like, armada of enemies, say 100 units that you're facing. You would think that it would do damage to all of them, but if that's the case, the game itself becomes too easy. So what will happen then, if you're trying to attack a massive units, what it will do is you can either... Okay, let me go to here for a second for a blank space. What it will do is that, say you're here, this is you. Ha. So if you're trying to attack a lot of units, maybe I should describe the battlefield. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Let's start at the beginning, which is a good place to start. So battlefield is going to be essentially like this: a inner ring, outer ring, and then a far ring. So everything in here is close. Everything out here is somewhat far, and outside the battle area is super far. Or at... Oh, no, then we could call it at range. This would be far, and this would be close. Yeah, so weapons will have their own, what is it called? Their own reach, I suppose. So some can only hit here, some can hit up to here and here, and others can hit at range. Obviously, as they should. But let's see, this is you. Say you have a couple of enemies. Let me get rid of these for a second. Let me actually change the color. So you are very light blue. The enemies are going to be red. So say you have an enemy here, 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 and there. And here, and there, and there. Quite the amount of enemies, right? Let me also better define the area, because this is not everything that's... Let me say this. This was the initial prototype for the field. It leaves something to be desired, since not everything can be well defined how it is, your attack ranges, your attack area of effect. So what I've done is that I've marked... No, I don't want it to be black. Okay. So there's the middle, then we can extend the cross up, which does a couple things for us. First, divides the battlefield into quadrants. Second, we can then subdivide it into halves, and we can even subdivide the areas, like close range and long range, away from the halves. So I need to stop clearing my throat. I need to stop having mucus in my throat. Okay. Okay, so here's you. Say you want to attack a large group of enemies. Well, you have a couple of options. Perhaps you just want to attack in a straight line, which is fine. Say you rolled 12. Each one of these guys has 8 health. Okay? So then that 12 would be reduced. So you get the full value of the roll. That 12 would then be reduced by 8. So 8 minus 12, you still have 4, and then 4 damage would go to the guy if you attack in a line. Perhaps you wanted an AoE effect. So what we could do is... Okay. What I had planned is that you would have a circular area, but what's better, since we can use the field to define it, is to attack either a quadrant itself or one quadrant area of the ring, or rather just one ring area. And since this is so since this is so defined by attacking in a line, anything a bit larger than one quadrant will have its damage reduced since you're attacking so many enemies. And so this way I think it can be a good alternative to having all the damage constantly affect all of them, and then 12 damage would just annihilate the entire group. So instead it would be like 12 damage. This would be something like you are lobbing a ball of fire that then explodes out, and then you'd attack this quadrant. So then that 12 might affect these two completely, since you're sticking to such a defined area. What can also be done, since this 12 is likely the result of, say, an 8 and a 12, a 10 and a 12. Well, actually, 2 12s. If we're going by pure averages, we'll just say this guy got lucky. So that's 8 and a 12. So no. What we could also do is, rather than taking the additive amount, we then take the lowest damage rolled, which we'll say 4, and then apply it to one range or to one quadrant. So that way you can hit even more enemies, and overall you will still do, see, 4 times 4, that's 16 damage overall, rather than if you attack in a straight line or just one area, you would only do about 12 you would only do 12 damage to each of them, which in this case would be 24, but what happens is that they can only take 8 damage, so ultimately it's still 8 times 2, or 16 damage. So there's a lot of decision making on the DM's part, or on my part rather, since I'm trying to define how everything can be used to keep some things from being too overpowered, some things from being too... I actually don't know if there's anything weak. Huh. So, I need to find a different word. Maybe not so. Maybe no, not in response. Something quick to say. Maybe perhaps regardless or continuing or not in spite. In spite of, nah. What would I say? Right, because I am carrying on the discussion, the solo discussion, shall we say, discussion with myself and you, who are watching. Continuing. Oh, or changing topic, I guess, if I'm going to talk about something else, right? Well, now's the perfect time to use that. Changing topic. We've got a couple of tabletops already that are out, and I want to... Wow, I used up all the layers. And I want to refresh them. So, there it is again. What's a better word? It's a better word than so. No. I'll just say more. Because of my wanting to refresh the tabletop RPGs, I do want to finish this one first, so of course it will be done first, and then I have 2 others that I want to refresh and a 4th that I want to make. There was honestly a 5th, but this title, which was my journeys in Linden. This was supposed to be a solo title, solo journaling title. That's what it was. So say you want to explore, but you didn't really want to have a DM there or someone to decide what would happen. You would leave it all up to the dice. And simply and thusly I named it My Journeys, emphasizing that it is your journey. You are there. You are the main focus, right? As you go around helping people or hurting people. I mean, I don't know. They're your journeys. You do what you want. Yeah. The my really puts you. I wanted to put it your journeys, but it's a little more personal if you read it my rather than your, because then it's more like you are talking to someone else. That would be something akin to a DM's guide that would be sold. Journeys, well, have you ever read the I don't know the name of the book, but the author, the creator maybe, of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Yeah, I'm not spelling very, very well today. We'll leave that shortened. So he spoke about he spoke about the title of the work having the character's name to show that you kind of care about them. So that's why JoJo's, and that's also why I have my. And he also said something about it being descriptive, which is why he had adventure, and he wanted a descriptor for it. I have no descriptor because I don't know what type of journey you want to make. So that's why I can only have journey, and then so this places secondary importance on the place or even the people, because the people that live there would be the people of Linden. And I'm talking to you about this title. I'm not sure why, but I am. I guess because I do care about it. I wanted it to be made. It's all written out. I was even going to explore a character, an art style, but who would buy it? I think I wanted to play it to give it more life. Ooh, this might not be a good drawing. But yeah, I was even going to explore. Or initially, it was supposed to be something normal, your average fantasy with like people, elves, whatnot. But then I started drawing this character, Barry. I know, very creative name, but yeah. I started drawing a stuffed bear that would act as the what is it called? As a stand-in, we'll say, for the players in all the images. And so like throughout the book you would see Barry on her adventure. Oof, that's not too good. Okay, that's a little bit better. Oh, this is an ugly stuffed bear. Oh, I don't know, it's just gonna get worse. Maybe I should have stuck with the circle. Alright. Dang. Nope. Okay. Well, that's done. So, it evolved into something more of a different fantasy, where you could play as a stuffed animal. I think you could play as a lot of different things. Like what you were, or rather what you intended your stand-in to be, was not really, it didn't matter. So you could play as an elf, you could play as as anything really. But that didn't pan out. It's all done. Everything's basically set. But I don't have the art. I don't have the art for it. Something like that, I think. She needs to taper a bit more, I believe. Mm-hmm. So, Linden is truthfully being, I don't want to say cannibalized. I'm recycled, shall we say? Right, because I am using some of the aspects of it for. Hold up. Yeah, I'm using some of the aspects of it for other titles because they were dang good ideas, if I do say so myself. So many things, so little time. Okay, number 4. I do believe this was the the kaiju game, to where you could be a how tall was they? I think it was 100 to 300 feet. To 300 feet tall, just a giant monster. Yeah. Of course, it could be played pure monster. However, I did have plans for you to be able to go from monster. Sure, we'll just say snake monster to human. And so you'd be able to switch between. And this whole thing, shoot, the 6th, I forgot. So this whole thing then would be so it could have you in conflict with other things, or it could have you in conflict with the people there, and so they'd have their tanks and whatnot to shoot at you. Tanks and airplanes and whatnot, and bombers. There we go. That looks like a decent plane design. Of course, you'd be able to escape them by quickly shifting between them. And so, what you could do is that say you're in a city. This is you in the city. Then you could just could grow into the giant monster and terrorize the town if you wanted to. Of course, you're not the only giant thing. There would be, firstly, other kaijus, perhaps aliens, and second, mechas. But I need to work on my mechas. See, living things are easier because they're more rounded. But a mecha, it's a machine. I think they're both harder and easier. Harder that you want to get more of the design, more of the detail in them, but easier in that they're made up. The giant robots, they're made up, so you could essentially put whatever you wanted on them. It's also difficult to make them look good, I would say. Right, because of firstly, they're straight lines. You kind of have to have a steady hand to do so many. And because of their high detail, you need to be able to truly turn them around 360 degrees in your mind and then accurately draw them, or else they'll look too different, too off, too uncanny, I suppose. This one in development. We'll say KIA for My Journeys in Linden. 6. This one. No, you know what? Okay, so this one was going to be more of a mecha action combat sci-fi. I did want sci-fi because I haven't done sci-fi ever. No, lie. That's a lie. I haven't done sci-fi in depth recently. would also have mechas. This one would be more like your Titanfall or whatnot. And so, but rather than titans, I think I called them angels, which apparently refer not refers but calls in the comparison. We'll say calls the comparison to Evangelion, which I haven't watched. I don't even feel the need to watch it. So I'm probably going to rename them from angels. Sadly. See, not everything pans out. So this is Yo Monster. This is truthfully more of a concept. I do believe I had some things down for weapons, kaijus, and stuff, but it's not. It doesn't have the gameplay loop yet. Honestly, neither does the kaiju game. So for number 2 and number 3. 3 is CQ. 2, Rift Runners. Alright, CQ was a title early in development, early in my progression, my journey. And so that one, it really needs an update. Okay, let me talk about Rift Runners first. So Rift Runners, I think, is one of my best titles. And I want CQ to match it, because they are essentially offshoots of each other. But Rift Runners is when I really got creative. So they had races, obviously based on other things, since nothing is truly ever creative, or nothing is ever truly unique. I'll have you know that in Rift Runners, I was thinking, how could we make combat faster? And so you know what I came up with? I said, hey, why don't we roll initiative each for one side? That would be cool. That would help us out to play faster, to get more combat in. And you know what happened? I found out that was already done in an earlier tabletop called Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. So I am reinventing the wheel twice. You know why? Because I also came up with the idea that I could put in a CYOA, choose your own adventure, into a tabletop game. I don't know if it was exactly as a tutorial type thing, but I wanted to mix the two. And you know what I found out? That had already been done before in a tabletop RPG called Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, so I fear I will only ever be the second best, or the second one to have done that. But so long as it works, I think it'll be fine. It shouldn't really matter. Yep. So everything I've ever done, everything I've ever done, everything I've ever thought to do has already been done before. And so comparisons will always be made. But since it's been done before, I should at least find some solace in the fact that it worked before, so why wouldn't it work again? You know? And that would be nice if it worked for me. Alright, I think 70 is a little bit better. That kid could use his eyes. Remade, I believe. Let's take this off. Let's go here. Yeah, here. So yeah, I have lots of projects, lots of things to do. And all of them have been done before. Ha. Hold on, let's see how he looks with a pupil. I don't know about that. But what I do know is that this was bothering me before. This eye. And I'll let you know why. Cool. Nice, it's all on the same layer. Firstly, not because of that, but because it's not shaped correctly. It's not as forward as it should be. So like this, we can properly move it, and I do believe there it is. Okay. Some of this line art is not doing well in service. Some of this line art is not doing well in service of this art. And thusly it needs to be removed. Oh, now that looks good. Okay. Ooh, I don't know about that. Does it look good though? Somewhat. Right, what was I going to say? Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, no, I did. Nice, 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 nice. I had a sudden thought that I did not turn off the music, but apparently I did, which is nice. Well, we still have a couple more minutes before the hour comes. Let me save just for a second. I'll have to edit that later. Now. I sure do sigh a lot. As you can see, I've got a lot of stuff to do, a lot of stuff to put into practice, or to put into work, to put into production. That's what I'm trying to say. Some of those things are, as a matter of fact, stream elements. Right now I only have the one photo, the one GIF that loops at the beginning of the stream and at the end. And I want more. What am I gonna do for more? I've got a couple of options. That's pretty good. Okay. Right. Let's define it here. I did some off-camera drawing. Just in a sketchbook, a paper sketchbook. I do believe I do most of my best work on the paper sketchbooks. As you can see, I'm drawing digitally though, because I cannot record a paper sketchbook, unfortunately. Not without recording my hands, which get in the way. Ah, man. Oh, right. I guess I should talk about the timeline of those other things. Right. Rift Runners, I think maybe next month. And it should be a lot quicker simply because it's going to be more of a rewrite, I guess. Let me get her there. Rather than a full-on recomposition, remaking. Right, because this is actually Rift Runner's second that I'm redoing. So, Rift Runners would be RR Rift Runners 2, and right, Rift Runners 2, and then the tag afterwards is Revival, which then I'm going to have another R, Rift Runners 2 Revival, reiteration. So it's gonna be Oh man. And that's a little bit going off of something, off of a game that I saw called Steel Sword Story, and then they remade it and called it S. So it's just 4 of them, and now I get to do that too. Huh. Right. Yeah, most of the art is already done, so what I'll do is I might add more blacks and define the light a little bit better. Okay. And the rewriting is more going to be shifting things around. I know that it's too front loaded. The players, so it's an all-in-one book. It's got stuff for the players and for the GM, and the players don't need to know everything. Of course, I can't leave them totally in the dark, so I need to instill in them a little bit of lore. Really, it should be something more akin to a summary, so they can play, because are they really going to play exactly according to lore? No. So these will be things that they should probably keep in mind, I believe. And so much lore had been written. I mean, so much. Maybe too. So much might be overselling it. But I did have some legend, maybe some creation myth on how the races got to where they were, right? Not truly creation, so as to say they weren't there and then they were there, but that they were already there and then disaster fell upon them. And my previous writing, truly it could be improved. I have no doubts. So that's for Rift Runners. CQ, one of my flagship. You actually can't buy it right now. You can't buy it yet. That one, I think, might be the most important to get right. Just simply because it is. Man. You know, I actually don't have a photo of Tabitha on me. I hope she looks like that. Well, only time will tell. Let's get some wrinkles. And then I do believe the bedding. Yeah, this is gonna be like a memory foam pillow, just absolutely destroyed by the weight of her skull. Talking while drawing is hard. It's very distracting, I shall say. More distracting than listening to music, I believe. Since you're actively trying to find the right words, to find something to say. And I will put ending there. Luckily for me, I don't have to finish that right now. Right, I also wanted a break one. Let's go like this. Break. I do want a stream element, just some GIF, some... Wait, is it some GIF, right? GIF. Right, some GIF. Oh, speaking of cats, I saw a cat today. It was outside just prowling around in the yard. A young cat, maybe a month old or something. Barely old enough to fend for itself. I'm gonna say it wasn't a very cute cat. Coloration was a little off, I believe. Right. Let me get this, I believe. That's wrong. That's too large. This will work. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, cool. Nice. Let's get the ellipse tool. That's not centered at all. Ooh, boy. That's a little more centered, I think. I mean, I could just do that, but centered, more or less. Now let's select, invert select. Oh boy, I think I have a package here. This package is from one of my better inspirations. Oh my gosh. Okay. Select, invert select. That would be trading card games, you know, because I do. Look, man, I'm already making tabletops. The nerd accusation is not going anywhere. So yeah, tabletop games. Pokemon used to play Duel Masters, which honestly I think might be one of the better tabletops. It's dead in the West, but it was one of the better ones way back when. What was that? Early 2000s, maybe 1990 some. Well, it seems that I've gone over time. Thank you for joining me.